Welcome to our live training today. We're going to be talking all about the two biggest problems that you face on social media and how you can solve them. I want to just take a moment to make sure that I am indeed streaming in the right place. So for those of you checking me out today, go ahead and type the word replay if you're in the replay hanging out. I want to show you some love. And if you're watching live, you can say hello to, hey Afton. Oh good, so this is all working. Cool. I'm trying a new app called Restream, so I'm hoping that it's all going to the right place. Otherwise, this training is for naught. Cool. Okay, great. Hey, okay, Carrie, I see you. Hi. Awesome. This is very neat. So we're going to talk about the problems that we face on social media. I've got some slides going today, but for those of you watching live, yes, hey, Carrie, say hi. There will be a replay, so drop your questions down below. I'm going to be hanging out in the comments after this too, so if I don't get to your question, comment now, I'll see it after the show. All right, I'm going to show my screen here. If you can type see my screen, if you can type a yes in the chat box just so I can see. I just need one or two people to say yes in the chat. You can see my screen. On the screen right now it says, let's talk about the two biggest problems you face on social media and how to solve them. Hopefully you guys also don't hear somebody cutting the grass because that is loud to me, but sometimes the mic doesn't pick it up. Okay, yes, awesome, yes, thank you. Okay, so social media strategy. I feel like strategy is like such a big word. It's a huge word. We think, oh my God, it feels heavy, right? So today I want to talk a little bit about what your strategy should look like and how to kind of navigate this world when you're going to build a strategy. So before we dive into that, I want to know if you have a strategy or not. So type yes or no in the chat if you have a social media strategy. Yes or no. I want to know what kind of we're working with today, and then also that'll dictate some of the questions that I ask later in the live stream. And you may be wondering, okay, what exactly is a social media strategy? Well, I define a social media strategy as your plan of action or your path towards using social media as a tool to grow your business. So you want to use social media as a tool to grow your business, and you've got some sort of plan or path or outline, or you've written, you know what you're going to post next week, next month, next year. You know what's going to happen when it comes to social media. You're not just opening the app and guessing every single time. So if you've got a plan, type yes or no in the chat if you don't. I think that having a plan is great, and I think overall that's kind of a bigger problem that I see when we're talking about social media as business owners, but also having a way to kind of navigate social media is a good place to start. Okay, so here's the number one problem I see. Number one problem I see when we're talking about social media is you don't know your audience. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what they like. You don't know what they dislike. You don't even know who they are as people. You just have an amazing thing. You've got an amazing podcast. You've got an amazing YouTube channel. You've got an amazing product or service. So you know you have that, but you don't know who your audience is. And I'll use an example personally. So I'm a social media strategist, and for the last 5 years, that's what I've been doing full time. It's how I make a living. It's how I support my family. I love social media. I love talking about it. I love doing it. But I did not have an audience. My audience used to be just anyone who needed social media services. Anyone and everyone. And that's very hard to market. It's very hard to talk about on social media if I don't have a specific audience. So what I did last year was niche down into talking specifically to podcasters. And what that's done is I created a whole new account, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whole new social media accounts, and those accounts have grown 10 times faster than my main accounts because I know exactly who I'm talking to, and I can cater everything I'm doing on social media to those people. So when you're thinking about your audience, I want you to think about who you're talking to on social media. Not just demographics though. So we can talk about, maybe you are talking to women of color in Atlanta, ages 40 through 60, and they've got to adult children. Like that's great. Those are demographics. Those work well. They're needed in a lot of instances. But I think when we're talking about social media posts, we want to think about the psychology behind those people. We want to think about what they like and what they dislike. We want to think about what challenges them. We want to think about what they're looking for. What do they want to get out of what you do? And so we want to really gear our posts. We want to talk about this in our bio. We want to talk about this in everything we do on our websites and our emails. We want to talk about who is it for. So I want us to take a moment and brainstorm together and get to know our audience. We're going to get to know your audience. So number one, I want you to write number one in the chat and then write the answer to this. What's one challenge your audience has before encountering your offer? So write the word one or type the number one and write the answer. What's one challenge that your audience has before they encounter your offer? So if you have a service-based business, what are they struggling with? If you have a podcast that's maybe entertaining, what are they looking for? If you have a product that saves people time, what are they struggling with right before they encounter your offer? Carrie says overwhelm. Great. Overwhelm is what they encounter right before in coming to your offer. All right, number two, right? The number two in the chat. What's the result they'll have after encountering your offer? After. So what's going to happen after they listen to your podcast? How will they feel when they hire you for your services? How will their life change? What transformation will they go through after reading your blog or watching your YouTube videos or purchasing your products or signing up for your services? What will their life look like after working with you, or as they're in progress working with you? So Carrie says they'll have relief, they'll have more time, rainbows and unicorns dancing in the sun. Love it. Sign me up. I love that. So I think we really want to think through these two things. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and type 1 and 2 in the chat. I'm going to be in the chat afterwards, kind of continuing the conversation. And these two things, overwhelm, as Carrie's example, and relief, need to be prevalent in everything you do on social media. Because if you don't have these two things, you may actually be doing some strategies, going through all of the motions, and wondering why it's not working. You may be posting every single day, you may be networking on social media, and you're like, nobody's signing up for my things. And that's because you're not speaking to these two problems. You're not speaking to your audience as if you know them. When your audience looks at your post, they don't feel a connection because they don't feel like it's for them. So you want to make sure you have 1 and 2 in all of your posts, in your bio if you can, on your website, in your emails, everything that you're doing. You should be reiterating this almost to the point of getting annoyed with yourself. Like, keep talking about it. Don't stop. All right, problem number two that people have when they're kind of creating a social media strategy and they're trying to figure it out. And so that maybe they've already figured out the first part. They know about their audience. They know what their problems are. They know what the result is. But now their audience doesn't know them. Your audience doesn't know you. They don't know you exist. They don't even know you have an offer. They've never heard of your podcast. They've never heard of your YouTube channel. They've never seen your website. They don't even know that you offer services or products. And this is the number 2 problem that I see happen all the time with people going into a social media strategy. Maybe they're posting content. Maybe they've got a great website, but nobody sees it. It's like that parable or saying, if a tree falls in the woods or in the forest, does anyone hear it? Something to think about, right? So we're going to use what I call the Savvy Engagement Growth Recipe. This is something that I teach inside of the Savvy Social School. It is a foundation of our networking principles for growing your audience. And it's not easy, it's not glamorous, it's actually simple, but it takes a bit of time. So here's the recipe. First step, like. Second step, comment. Third, follow. And what I call the dessert of the recipe, a direct message. So I want you to take these steps and apply them to new people, people who don't know you exist yet. This is getting their attention. Otherwise, they would have never heard of you. How would they have heard of you? And you're going to do these on any social media platform of choice. I do recommend picking one platform and kind of going through every single day and following the recipe. The key here is to connect with people as you would in real life. And the key here is to do this daily. It should be a daily habit. I do recommend spending 10 to 20 minutes per day per platform. So start with 10 to 20 minutes per day. No more than that. It's kind of like working out, right? Like you could take a Saturday and like power workout the whole day, like 5-hour workout, and then not do anything for the rest of the month. That's not going to get you as much progress as working out for 30 minutes a day. Okay, so you've got to do it daily. It's a daily habit, and you have to do the recipe. Again, the recipe is like, comment, follow, and what I call the dessert of the recipe, the direct message. Okay, so who do you do this to? Your current followers, people who post in hashtags, people who engage with your posts, competitors, followers, industry leaders. You can look by location on platforms like Twitter and Instagram. So I want you to make a commitment to yourself to do this. So finding your audience. Number 3, in the chat, I want you to list one place where you will find your audience. List one place where you can go and search for and find your audience. It could be a hashtag, it could be a competitor, it could be a specific Facebook group or LinkedIn group. It could be a specific trending topic. I want to know, where will you go and do this recipe? Where are you going to spend 10 to 15 to 20 minutes a day on this? Where can you see yourself hanging out? Carrie says LinkedIn. Love LinkedIn, especially for service-based businesses. And your goal here is to connect with new people. Do you guys remember the Facebook Poke? Facebook Poke. Throwback to 2007 Facebook, where you signed up for the platform, then for some reason they had this thing where you could poke each other, and you would poke people you didn't know, you'd poke people you did know. It was just like, hey, I'm thinking of you type of thing. That's kind of what this does. This is almost a little bit like the Facebook Poke, where you're connecting with people. Carrie says she hates the poke. I didn't get it. I would poke people back, but I would never initiate the poke. But yeah, this is very similar to the Facebook Poke in the sense that you're saying, hey, I'm here. I see you. I want to hang out with you. Possibly, maybe this could be something more. And yeah, so Facebook Poke. All right, number 4. Today's task. We have 4 tasks today. The third one was list the place where you find your audience. The fourth is, what is your commitment to finding your audience? I want you to type the number 4 and then here and now tell me what you can commit to. So I'll tell you my commitment. My commitment is 10 minutes a day per platform, 5 days a week. That's my commitment to my social media kind of strategy. 10 minutes a day. I'm spending 10 minutes a day on Instagram, 10 minutes a day on LinkedIn. Those are my 2 kind of primary ones. And I do a lot with Facebook groups as well. So about 30 minutes total. I'm finding new people to connect with. And that's okay if you don't have a commitment right now. Carrie says she doesn't have anything right now specifically. Oh, just kidding. She can do 10 minutes a day per platform. Good. 10 minutes a day per platform. I think that's great. I think that's easy to commit to. And again, it's like working out. You could do this on the end of a lunch break. You could do this at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day. I like to do it at the beginning of the day so they get it out of the way and then move on to the rest of my stuff. Because listen, we have a lot to do as business owners, as creators. We have a lot of stuff on our plate. Social media is just one small piece of the puzzle. You should not be spending your entire day on social media. That's a waste of time. We have a lot of things to do. I know for me, even though I run a social media business, I have bookkeeping to do. I have to manage my team. I have to write proposals. I have to follow up with emails. I have to send assets to designers. There's a lot of things that go into my day outside of social media. Now, as you're going through this recipe, one last little tidbit here is just a reminder that you're a human and you're connecting with other humans. So please continue to act that way. I tweeted this out and I added this on Instagram lately. And I don't want us to get kind of caught up in like spamming out our products. I want us to be human. I'm going to turn back to my camera here because I think this is really important. Sometimes we love our podcast, our YouTube video, our services, our products so much that we run right up to people and we go, blah, this is amazing. You should buy this or listen to this or watch this. And that's a very aggressive approach. And we have good intentions, of course, but it's a lot like dating, where you want to have some steps along the way. You want them to get to know you. Some people will buy right away. Some people will buy a few steps in. Some people it takes years. I had a client one time who was on my email list for 2 years before she hired me for services. Shout out to Summer Tannhauser. Go check her out. She was on my list for 2 years before she reached out to me for services. And in those 2 years, I was sending emails, I was doing social media posts, I was doing all the things that we do to build our businesses. So just keep that in mind as you're kind of navigating through some of these things, because this isn't a magic solution. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This isn't sign up today and get 100,000 followers tomorrow. This is steady, intentional growth of your business. This is what we do. This is what we do every day. I also want to take a moment to invite those of you who find this interesting to join me in the Savvy Social School. I'll make this quick, but the Savvy Social School is kind of where I hang out. It's where I spend my time. It's how I can do videos like this. It funds my educational side. So I'm going to share my screen again here and just share the one window. Savvy Social School. Here we go. So the Savvy Social School is go-to resource for those of you who want to build profitable communities on social media. So if you go to savvysocialschool.com, this is the page that you'll see. It tells you more about the school, what's included. We've got done-for-you posts, which are like everyone's favorite, video courses, interactive community, live training I do every single month. We actually last month talked about launching and how to launch something on social media. It's a bit of a more aggressive approach than just posting on social media, right? So you want to make sure that you have a really nice campaign set up so you can build up that buzz and get that initial cash injection. We talk about the success framework. We've got a tech vault, and I'll show you guys behind the scenes what this looks like a little bit. So when you join the school, you get access to all of the courses. They look like this. So if I want to click on Instagram Savvy as an example, and I go over to preview as logged in. Sorry, I'm in the admin side, so it's going to show you some things that, get like a behind the scenes feel. All right, so heading on over to Instagram Savvy, I just want to show you guys what's kind of behind the scenes of this course. Let me see if I can get us logged in here. And Instagram Savvy really just walks through everything you need to know to create an Instagram strategy. So we've got a workbook that comes with the course, and we have a bonus action plan. Lots of videos in here on how to create content, how to post Instagram, what hashtags you should be using. We've got a whole hashtag database, Instagram stories, which are hot right now, Instagram Live, which is fun, how to grow your Instagram following. So here's what we talked about today, the growth recipe. I talked about it for maybe 5 minutes. Oh, this is going to play. Hold on. I talked about it for maybe 5 minutes in our video today, and we've got an 8-minute video here and then a whole section on growth. This is probably about 20 minutes altogether, okay? Analytics, all of that good stuff is inside of the school. It's $37 a month to join. Yep, and that's kind of what I do. So I wanted to take a moment there to talk about it because it's awesome, I think, and I love hanging out in there. Thanks so much for joining me today. You guys have been awesome. This has been fun, and I'll see you guys next time I do a live video. Bye!